Good morning. Welcome this morning to Haywire Homestead. If you haven't joined us before, we live on a small 5-acre farm down in southwest Ohio. And this morning we're getting barn chores done before the kids head to school as per usual, getting all the birds fed. I've got a couple that are going to be leaving today, some errands. I just decided that I wasn't really pleased with the stock that I had, the hatching eggs that I had purchased and the stock that produced. So I'm just going to go ahead and rehome them and concentrate on my Light Brahmas. So I got to go get the goats fed here. We had some frost last night. It's about 28 degrees. It was supposed to be, I think, in the mid-50s today. So hopefully this afternoon we'll be able to get some stuff done. And after I get all the barn chores done this morning, get the kids to school, my horse trailer that you see right there has to be taken down to a friend who is going to fix the lights, because for some reason we have a short somewhere and my brake lights and my turn signals don't work. So I have a friend who's going to follow me on down there so we can take it down to her. Actually, it's her dad, who's an electrician, so he's going to help us. But got a frosty morning this morning. I'm going to go ahead and go in here and get the feed for the goats and get them fed. Still pretty wet out, so I can't do anything in the garden. I'm hoping beginning of next week I'm going to be able to get in and till, and then I'll be able to go show you guys the potatoes and carrots and everything once I get them in. I've got seedlings to transplant. I started on those yesterday, and they're growing quite nicely. Some of them I'm figuring out what they are, and some of them I'm really not sure. I can't remember what kind of tomatoes I planted in what container. So lesson learned, mark your seedling containers so you know what's in them. So, all right. Move. Come on. Morning, Betty. Morning, girls. I know I made a reference to my chickens, but I swear, my goats, whenever it's time to have grain, they're worse than zombies on brains. I can't even hardly get it into the feed pans because they mob me. I know, come on. You'd think I didn't feed them. And obviously from Betty's big fat belly, you see that I do. Come on, babies, go in there. Go in there. Go on, Scooter, get in there. This is my creek feeder. So, sorry, I'm not having very good aim this morning because I'm trying to do this and videotape at the same time. You have to get out of the bowl, dear heart. I can't put it in there if you're in it. Hopeless babies. All right, and no, Miss Daisy is waiting for her ration, so I'm gonna get off of here so I can get her fed. I can't really do that two-handed, especially with Mama. Mama over here trying to get some too. She thinks she didn't get enough. So this morning I'm going ahead and I've been running the incubator for 2 days just to start to acclimate it and putting some Light Brahma eggs in there. I've actually got an order I'm really excited about. It's my first order for some babies, Light Brahma babies. So we're going to go ahead and get this finished setting up and turn it back on. And I was reading for this particular incubator that it works best if you put the styrofoam that it was shipped in around it to insulate it, that it works better. I've hatched out of it a couple times and the hatches have been okay, but they haven't been the greatest. So hopefully this time we get a better result. I have noticed over the last couple of days that the humidity and the temperature seems to be a little more stable. So I'm hoping that really. So this holds 36 eggs. And I've been collecting these every day from my Brahma pen. And what I do is I put them, I don't use really severely dirty eggs. This one has a little bit of dirt on it, but that's okay. So you want to try to get cleaner eggs if you're going to hatch. And we're going to put these all in here. When you're collecting them from day to day and you don't have enough for a hatch, you want to put them in a carton. And you don't want them in a really warm place. You want them in a little bit cooler space. So it's been kind of cool around here lately. So it hasn't been too hard to just leave them sitting here on the table because there's no heave vent or anything close to it. And what I do is I take them and actually sit it on an angle up against the wall when there's eggs in it. And then every day I gently turn it. So this stimulates the eggs being turned up until I'm able to put them in the incubator. So we're going to go ahead and get this thing fired up. And it looks like I have 34 eggs in here. And I'll probably go ahead and grab 2 more from the girls today and go ahead and fill it completely up. So actually, I have that on sideways. It goes around this way. Put it on there and start her up. And in 21 days, hopefully we will be able to show you guys some cute little fluffy baby peeps. I really like this one for the fact that it tells you, this tells you how long until the next time it's going to turn to eggs. This is what day it's on, which I'm going to reset that in just a minute. This is your humidity, and this is my temperature. So I'm going to go ahead and reset the counter for the days. When I was talking earlier, I realized that I said clean eggs with the hatching of your eggs. You want to use relatively clean eggs, but you don't want to wash them. So if they're dirty like this one, I probably wouldn't hatch this. It's a little dirtier than I would like. But this one I would need to wash in order to sell it to my customers. So we had some muddy days, so I've got a little bit of muddiness on some of these eggs. So I'm getting ready to wash them. But if I was going to hatch them, I wouldn't want to wash them. You need to leave, there's a film that's an antimicrobial layer that when the chicken lays it, it stays on there, and it's called the bloom, and the bloom helps protect the integrity of the inside of the egg. When you wash that off, that's when bacteria can get in there, and that's how your eggs wind up going bad faster. You don't have to wash your eggs, and you can even leave them unrefrigerated, but if you wash them, you've got to refrigerate them. So I just wanted to bring that note in there, make sure I was giving you guys that correct information. Okay guys, so I'm going to do some transplanting of some of the seedlings. We're going to do Roma tomatoes. I've already got my cucumbers moved and my cabbage is moved. So if you see, I've already started getting everything transplanted, and they're actually started. This one right here is actually a zucchini, and so is this one over here. So what I'm going to do is mark some of my cups and get them going. I have a seed starter mix that I added in, and I added some water and let them sit for a few minutes. So we're just going to put RT on the cups, so that way we know what's in them, because I don't remember what all I planted where in the little starter things, and I need to at least keep track of the ones that I do remember. So I think I've said this in the past video, lesson learned, make sure I mark all of my containers and remember what is in them. So these are my Roma starters. Here you go. So they're my little seedlings, my little Roma seedlings. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to transplant them, but I'm also going to pick any of them that have more than one plant in them. I'm going to pick the plant off. I'm going to pick the best one to stay in there, and then any ones that are smaller, I'll take those out and just dispose of them. Or you could always try transplanting those as well, but normally the stress on them doesn't work that well. So this one here, they're actually pretty even, but if you look, this one's actually starting to get its first true leaves. So I'm going to take that one. So just pop that one out, and then I'm going to plop it down in here and work it down into the soil. And there we go. And we'll just keep doing this until we get them all planted. Been really super happy. This is first time that I've ever done this, and I actually had a good, probably I'd say 85% of my stuff germinated, and it's all still thriving really well. So I'm really excited and hopeful that once it gets warm enough, so just here in a couple of weeks when we got Mother's Day coming around the corner, that I'll actually be able to get these into the ground outside. So fingers crossed that I can get them to make it all the way into the ground. Then I won't have to go out and buy all my tomato plants like I normally do. And I bought extra seeds so that way I could store it and use it hopefully for next year. Not quite ready. Still learning about the seed saving. So seed saving is probably going to be something that I study throughout this year, because I want to make sure that I do them. Since we do several different kinds of tomatoes, I want to make sure I can have some isolation beds to where I'm not getting any cross-pollination, and then I wind up with some that are not true to that plant, then I won't know what I'm getting. Because I plant a couple different kinds for a couple different reasons. I do an Amish paste, or no, actually, I'm sorry, this year I'm doing Roma. So I'm doing Roma, which is really good for your, really good for paste tomato or tomato sauces, my spaghetti sauces. My husband picked out a new heirloom one, and I can't remember. I think it's called a Homestead, and he's really excited to try that one because it's supposed to be really good for your tomato sauces. And then we also do a beef steak, and I also do a cherry tomato. So cherry tomatoes, I do those actually in a container up on the porch for salads and things like that. But all the rest of them go out into rows in the garden. So I'm gonna finish these up. See, look again, you can see there's actually two. One is the biggest, and it's actually got a decent stem on it. And then you can see this other one down here is really small. So I'm going to remove those two and leave the one larger one. Okay. Now, you could transplant them into bigger just plastic pots. You can transplant these into solo cups like I am, or you can also get like bigger peat pots. I did a little bit of research on the peat pots, and while most people go, oh, those are really nice, they can cause, that people will tend to overwater those because the outside of the peat pot looks dry. And I think I might have seen M.I. Gardner mention something about it as well, where the peat pots are actually, they look like they're dry on the outside, but because they're what we call hydroscopic and they absorb the water, then people tend to overwater them, and then you get root rot. So that's not good for your seedlings. So I prefer not to do that. The other thing you can get is actually the soil block molds, and you can make bigger soil blocks that you take these out and put them into the center of, and you just keep transplanting to a bigger size depending on how big they grow before you. We're getting some seeds transplanted today. That's on the list, as well as getting my horse trailer's lights fixed. And we will talk at y'all later. Hope you enjoyed. If you like what we're doing here, give us please smash that like button and subscribe as well. Don't forget to ring the bell for notifications for new videos. Y'all have a good one.